If you can see the screen, can you see the slides?
Yes, Bhante, with the Zoom link.
Oh. Now, okay, can you see the slides?
Hi.
Okay. All right. So the topic today is Buddhist perspective on environment. So I think I just wanted to see how everybody is looking with this watching it. And we have been actually having a little bit of tough weather last few weeks or so. But I think it's going to be okay. So today is class number 12. We have been learning a lot of things, right? So you had a good time. You learned a lot of things, and hopefully we can continue to learn more during the rest of our course.
Bhante,
Yes,
your audio is fading in and out.
I'm sorry.
Your audio is fading in and out.
Is that okay now?
It sounds better.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just let me know if the sound is not working, that's a big problem. Right, so the topic here is Buddhist perspective on environment. I want to share a little story here, what we do here in our temple. Can you see? At our Fresno temple here, we live very close to the nature. This is the agricultural capital. We do have a lot of farmlands, and every morning I water the vegetable garden, fruit trees, and the jasmine creepers that we have here that spread the fragrance throughout the temple. I also feed temple dogs, a rescued puppy, his mother, and another dog who live freely outside, not chained. They wait happily to welcome me every morning, and they have shaded spaces for them because in the heat of summer like now, it's 100 degrees. So they do need comfort and care. So when I water the trees and the ground, it becomes cool, not just for the plants and flowers, but also for the animals, the birds, and for humans. The jasmine creepers grow so thick that we can sit underneath and meditate even in the middle of the day, despite the heat. And we also have some birds nest in these trees, and they live peacefully alongside us. In this way, the temple has become a sanctuary for where humans, animals, and plants share the same space in harmony. We also grow many vegetables, white and round eggplants. Do you have eggplants, chilies, drumsticks, some of those maybe Asian vegetables, tomatoes, bitter gourd, lemon, and curry leaves. These vegetables give us healthy meals most of the time. And whatever we grow is not just for ourselves, we also share the extra community who visit us. And people from nearby farms share their crops with us too. Um, Sometimes they bring some fruits and other things to the temple. This creates a beautiful cycle of generosity and gratitude, a living practice of dana, generosity, and metta, loving kindness, and harmony. So, through these daily practices, watering the plants, feeding dogs, caring for birds, growing vegetables, offering flowers for the Buddha, we are reminded of the Buddha's teachings on inner dependence, paticca samuppada, and non-harming ahimsa, compassion, karuna, and right livelihood, sama ajiva. Caring for the earth is not something separate from spiritual practice. It's the Dhamma itself. So today, as we explore the Buddhist perspective on the environment, let us reflect on how these simple acts of care and harmony are themselves expressions of wisdom and compassion. That's a little bit of some personal note, just to share that story from my side. I like to hear from you also. Now I invite some of you to share your story on any act of environmental care. It could be planting a tree, helping an animal, saving water, reducing waste, or anything you have done that reflects care for nature. Yeah, please keep it short, simple. One.
When I was living in Colombia, we have a farm, my family, and we buy another piece of land in the mountains. That part of the mountain was like the middle paramount is very high, and it was devastated. So we replant the um, how do you say, like the natural forest of that area. We reforest. That was the plan for that land. We don't produce anything, just grow up that natural things there. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think those are beautiful countries, right? The nature. Yeah, what about the others? We also want to share something. Anyone? Some kind of environmental care. I'm sure many of you, all of you, probably.
I can share something, Bunty.
Yeah.
Nevada is really harsh as far as the heat and growing plants. So most of the people trade out their lawns for rocks, which we had to do. But I make sure that I have bird seed for the quails and their families that I'm on about the 4th generation now that they come into the yard and I see all the little ones trailing behind. And the multiple birds and the bees also. I leave out water with a little sugar in it for their hydration because they're so important to the environment. So whatever little things come into our yard, it's always welcome and I always try to attend to them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's so wonderful. And Tara also said that if it birds outside and plant flowers for the bees, hummingbirds. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember in Bhikkhu Thanissaro's temple, there's metaphors here, and there are so many, I think, hummingbirds coming, and they feed them. A lot of people, I think, volunteer support so many hummingbirds. Yeah, what else are you doing for the nature? Last time I was talking about, the trees are there to help others, right? The rivers and the cows, they are there to help others, not themselves. And also we are there to help others. So today's topic also is really important topic. Right. We go back to the slide. Any of you want to share anything even later? You are welcome. Okay. All right. I want you to take a look at this. Can you see? What do you see here?
Looks like a map of the world with people caring for it.
Yeah. I would like to hear from many of you. What do you see here?
It
Yeah.
looks like we're responsible, all we are responsible to protect the environment and to provide the necessary resources like here, water and earth. And this is what I see.
We see different forms of life. There's the tree that's making up the earth, and then we see butterflies as well as human hands. So it's it kind of shows the interconnectedness between species.
The pictures, they can speak 1,000 words. A lot of people, when you see it differently, you can interpret it differently. This is the beauty of pictures. You can see the tree and water and soil in plants, right? Why are water and soil shown here?
Bante, you said about it. I remember about the thing we are the same because we are created by 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and air. So we support each other to live in this planet. Yeah, the plant give us the oxygen, and yeah, other animals support the environment first. And yeah, I think we need to responsible for take care. It looks like we care them again. It looks like we support each other to live for a long time in this planet. Yes.
Nice, beautiful. So over here, the tree, how does it look like?
It looks like the planet is a circle.
Yeah, it looks like the planet, right? Planet Earth. So what Buddhist value does this reflect? Perhaps right livelihood or some ajiva or dana or generosity, right? Just as a tree that cannot grow without soil and water, human life cannot thrive without protecting nature. So please feel free to say something. Okay. Let me go to another one. What do you see here?
We can see a sphere of water and another two hands holding small trees. So as New was mentioning the four elements in Eastern culture, I that reminds me of the four chemical elements in the world. So this is a very cool fact that I've just learned is that in the whole universe, the astrologies they kind of measure stuff, and they find out that the most four common elements are uh, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. So this is like in the whole universe, and on Earth, for all the organic matters or organism, including human beings, right? So even animals, plants, and all the organics organisms, we are all made up of different macro elements, but they are all made of these four. The most four common element are still hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. So it's kind of just arranged in different ways, but in overall, when we break it down to very small elements, it's the same. So it's like as human, we share the same characteristic with all other beings and like the whole universe as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, look at the picture and express yourself. You can.
I see resilience. That's what I see. Resilience.
Mhm. What does it mean to hold the earth in our hands?
Maybe like the at this point the fate of the earth or how things go for the earth really rests on what choices humans make right now. And it kind of reminds me like what Mark was saying. It makes me think like when we're practicing Buddhism with our bodies, we're controlling elements like water and earth on a very, very small level. And then if you think of it on a big level, like what if we could have an impact on, the balancing of the elements on a, planetary level?
Yes. We have to balance, we have to take care of, right? Like holding the earth in our hands. How does Buddhism teach responsibility to future generations? You can see here, kind of the Mother Earth. And it's in danger. And if we don't plant more trees, things can go wrong. So the inner dependence reminds us here that our actions today shape the future of all beings. Yes. So if you want to live here, you have to also respect the nature. And if you want to save the Mother Earth for the future generations, as Ayla said, you have to take care of it. You can't really destroy it. Just we humans are not the only sentient beings that live here. There are so many other. So the biodiversity, the balance, it's really important that we respect for sentient beings. So it's a really powerful reminder to us. Yeah. This is another picture if you want to say something. What do you see here?
I see that we are the earth and the environment, the earth is as the same as us.
So you see the green hands, right? Holding the earth tree. What does it mean to you? Again, how does it mean? How does this remind us of the Buddhist teachings on ahimsa, not harming, and karuna, compassion? So, like every time we hold hands together, there is something very special. Like we have two sides of the body. We have two hands, two legs, two eyes, two ears. We have a lot of two things in the body. And when you keep them together, it's a very powerful gesture already. So helping or caring, not only for yourself, but also for the others. Compassion and ahimsa, non-harming, are something that is very important teachings here. So the key point here actually is the plant survives, or the planet survives, when our hands act with compassion, not greed. Do you know where is this? Yeah, Jojo?
Bhante, I was wondering if the Vinaya has any restrictions for monks to grow fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, we do. Well, we have the community helping, and that's actually not like a livelihood, but like not like a business or something. But it's part of the nature friendly activity, and the community here, like the devotees, they come, they do the volunteer work, and when they come to the temple, they feel also good. Um, so here we have some people, they come and help too. You can see here this Indian lady over here. She along with her son and her grandchildren, they come to the temple. They also cook for us sometimes.
Thank you.
And I think in Mahayana temples, they always grow vegetables. I have seen in South Korea, um, they mostly do their own harvesting. all by themselves. Even in the middle of the forest, I've been to some of the very ancient Buddhist temples in South Korea, and they actually grow vegetables, and they are kind of self-dependent mostly. Okay. Are you familiar with these pictures? Can you recognize the location? What country is that?
Nepal?
Nepal.
Yeah, something close to that.
Bhutan.
This is in Bhutan, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bhutan. Yeah.
That's right. This is Bhutan. So what do you see the harmony between the monasteries and the natural surroundings?
I feel like that would require a lot of work to build the monastery in the mountain.
Yeah, that definitely is. Also, if you see, like, if you go to those countries, many countries, if you go, you can see the traditional Buddhist countries, monasteries are built mostly on top of the mountains or in the middle of the forest. That way, the monks also take care of the forest. Like in Thailand, the monks actually, take care of the big trees by wrapping the rope around those trees, kind of ordaining the trees. There's a movement in Thailand. And in the forest, when those forest monks are living, they always take care of the forest. And they are very friendly with the nature. Yeah. I know it's hard, it's tough, but that's how they somehow do it. You go to Nepal and Bhutan, I think they are mostly mountainous areas. And so the temples have been mostly located in far remote areas. And those monks practice in these beautiful mountainous areas. So how does this reflect the Buddhist way of living close to nature? The Buddha's time also, we see like Isigili Mountain, Rajgiri, so many mountains. Those practitioner monks, they were living mostly in those mountainous areas. Today's context, we have some technology much advanced than before, so probably they have better structures here. Yeah. So Buddhist communities like Bhutan, they are model like simplicity and respect for nature, embodying interdependence. Interdependence is what we call, what we learn in Paticcasamuppada. Okay, so from these images, we see that Buddhism views the environment not as separate from us. It's not indispensable from the nature, but as part of the same web of life. The Buddha's teachings on interdependence, non-harming, and compassion, and simplicity guide us to live in harmony with nature. So today's discussion will explore this perspective in depth. Right. Can somebody please, can you read this?
Yes, I can read. Every single day, 200 species extinct from this earth. There is only 67% chance of limiting the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees. On January 1st, 2018, there are 420 gigatons of carbon dioxide left to emit to stay within that target. And we are already down to less than 360. If we continue at the same emission level as now, we have less than 8.5 years until the budget is over, according to the IPCC from the SR15 report, and that is 67% chance from Greta Thunberg 2019.
So much. Have you heard of this young teenage activist? I think in 2018 or 2019, so she was teenager now. I think she is like 22 or something. She is a very powerful nature, or what do you call, environmental activist. So Greta Thunberg, speaking in 2019, reminds us that the climate crisis is not a distant problem, it's urgent and measurable. 200 species lost every single day. I think it must be more now, after 6 years or something. This shows how quickly biodiversity is disappearing and how human activity is destroying ecosystems that took millions of years to form. And carbon scientists have calculated how much carbon dioxide we can still emit to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius. In 2018, that budget was 420 gigatons, and just 1 year later, it had already dropped by 60 gigatons due to ongoing emissions. And right now, it should be much more happening. So the time left, if we continue at the same pace, humanity has less than a decade before exceeding this budget. After that, climate change will accelerate beyond our control, according to Greta. With devastating effects for all life on Earth. Greta's message is actually very powerful because it shows both the urgency and the responsibility we all share. The choices we make today decide the survival of species, ecosystems, and even future generations. You can learn more about this young girl. I already have written an article about this activity. I have also been following her activities in the past. Very strong, very tough when it comes to this little girl. But she has started alone, and now the world over, millions of young children have rallied around her to raise her voice. I remember in one of her speeches, she said, like, shame on you. And, we are going to lose our future because of you. She is very harshly criticizing the present day generation for destroying the mother. So this young activist's word remind us that protecting the earth is no longer optional. It's essential. How do you think Buddhist teachings on interdependence and compassion can guide us in responding to such urgent warnings? We need to really seriously think of it. Today, in today's topic, I also want to reiterate this and highlight that you know we have to take care of this Mother Earth or our nature in our own capacities. Although, like in global level, political leaders, social leaders, religious leaders, or community leaders, they also have to play their own roles. But then we have to really do something to take care of the Mother Earth. So this statement by Rita sounds a very important message to us. Maybe we can take a little look on this. Can you see the screen about her?
Yes, Bante.
Yeah, so Greta Thunberg, the Swedish climate activist who rose to global prominence as a teenager, exemplifies unwavering commitments to environmental protection through direct action and moral clarity. Beginning with a solitary school strike for climate in 2018, Thunberg has demonstrated remarkable dedication by consistently prioritizing environmental advocacy over conventional education and personal comfort. Her commitment is evident in a refusal to fly due to aviation's carbon footprint, instead traveling by sailboat to climate conferences. I remember she came here, I think, last year or so, by sailboats. And her powerful speeches that challenges the world leaders with stark honesty about the climate crisis. Thunberg's approach reflects an ethical conviction that transcends personal gain. She has declined numerous awards and speaking fees, instead using the platform to amplify scientific evidence and demand immediate action. Founding of the Fridays for Future movement has inspired millions of young people worldwide to engage in climate activism, demonstrating how individual commitment can catalyze global movements through a consistent message that our house is on fire. Thunberg embodies the type of sustained moral leadership that environmental protection requires, showing that genuine commitment often demands personal sacrifice and the courage to speak uncomfortable truths to power. So here the movement like Friday strike school. She didn't go to school on Fridays. She was rather demonstrating in front of the Swedish Parliament, and distinctive approach to environment activity. There are advocacy, global impact on and recognition. I think even Dalai Lama and U.S. President. Remember, I think she even, if I'm not mistaken, she even met U.S. President Barack Obama that time. And she even, Pope also was supporting voice. So interesting discussion. She has already done, actually raised the voice. Maybe you also can learn something more about this young girl who reminds us the very powerful, the real urgency that we all need to take care of the mother. I think over here there is a speech. Let me see if you can. Actually, you can maybe take a look at this. Share it to you. Okay. So with that, we move on to another conference. This was actually 1992, long time ago, Rio de Janeiro. This declaration, they had declaration on environment again, really important. Human beings are at the center of concerns for sustainable development. They are entitled to a healthy and productive life in harmony with nature. So, what does that mean over here? So the Rio Declaration, this principle from the 1992 UN conference in Rio reminds us that sustainable development is not just about economic growth. It's about people and nature living in balance, living in harmony. Human beings are at the center. Development should serve human well-being, not just profit. Healthy and productive life. True progress means people can live free from pollution, hunger, and disease. In harmony with nature, our survival depends on protecting ecosystems. Development cannot come at the cost of destroying the earth. So this was a turning point in global environmental thinking, recognizing that human dignity and ecological responsibility must go hand in hand. And over here, I also have this summary and quotes of the Rio Declaration. Over here, you can see the background and context, core philosophy, and key principles, like 27 fundamental principles that include human-centered approach, development and environment integration, poverty eradication, key environmental principles, special groups recognition, state responsibilities, and significance and impact. And then we can also see over here some important quotes of on this declaration. You can see these are also very important. The whole declaration is really helpful for the mother. I'll share the link with you later. Okay, can you please read this one?
I can read Bante. Yeah, as Albert Einstein wrote, a human being is a part of the whole con by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experienced himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of reason for us, restricting us to our personal desire and to affection for a few persons nearest us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty and saying.
Thank you. Yeah, Albert Einstein usually he talk about relativity. And so over here, he also talks a little bit more about that. Einstein, though a scientist, expressed the vision very close to the Buddha's teaching, that liberation comes when we see ourselves not as separate, but as connected, and when we widen our compassion to embrace all life. So this is over here, Albert Einstein reminds us that although we often see ourselves as separate individuals, in reality, we are part of much larger whole, the universe. Like in Sanskrit, it is said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire earth is one whole family. Over here, we can see delusion of separateness, thinking of ourselves as independent and isolated is like living in a prison, confined to selfish desires and caring only for a few people close to us. So if we do like that, that is like living in a prison. So freedom through compassion to break out of this prison, we must expand our compassion to include all living beings and the whole nature. And this is pretty much like Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhita. May all beings be well, happy, and healthy. That Buddhist teaching. In harmony with Buddhism, this echoes the Buddhist teaching of interdependence, paticca samuppada, and the practice metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion, which encourage us to go beyond selfishness and embrace the well-being of all beings and the earth itself. Okay. Okay, so we can go to direct teaching of Buddhist sutta called Dhammika Sutta in Sutta Nipata. It is said, let him not destroy or cause to be destroyed any life at all, nor sanction the acts of those. Let him refrain from even hurting any creature, both those that are strong and those that tremble in the world. What do you think here? See, so here the explanation of the Sutta Nipata. This verse teaches the principle of ahimsa, non-harming, one of the central values in Buddhism. Not destroy or cause to be destroyed. We are responsible not only for our own actions, but also for supporting or encouraging harm done by others. Refrain from hurting any creature. I mean, here, compassion is not limited to humans. It extends to all beings, strong or weak, visible or unseen. Like yesterday when we were reading Karaniya Metta Sutta and many other suttas, we can find the same teaching here. And environmental connection is also there. This directly relates to protecting the environment, avoiding activities that kill animals, destroy forests, pollute rivers, or cause suffering to living beings. So Buddha has prohibited the monks, for example, spitting on water or dumping, waste on the water, because water is so important for the survival of humanity and for the survival of all the other sentient beings. Water pollution is a huge issue today, apart from the air pollution, sound pollution, earth pollution. We see this pollution to really large scale happening now. So this verse reminds us that true Buddhist practice is not just about meditation, but about how we live daily, choosing actions that protect life and reduce suffering everywhere. Okay. Yeah, anyone would like to read this Dhammapada chanting along with the meaning? You can try.
I'll read it.
Okay.
Verse 99. Forests are delightful.
Palivan?
No, well, okay. Ramani Jani Aranyani Yatana Ramati Hanu Pitaraga Ramisanti Nate Kamagavesino. Verse 99. Forests are delightful, but the worldlings find no delight in them. Only those who are free from passion will find delight in them, for they do not seek sensual pleasures. Dhammapada Bhikkhu Bhagavata 99.
Thank you. So the Dhammapada Gatha here, Ramaniyani Aranyani Yathana Ramati Jano Vitaraga Ramisanti Nate Kama Gavesino. This beautiful Dhammapada Gatha highlights the difference between worldlings, ordinary people, and noble ones, those free from passion and attachment. Do you like forests? you like, but
Yes, mountain.
can you live there?
I hope in the future. I
Can
wish,
you
I
live
wish,
there all by your?
yeah, I wish in the future I have a home at the forest.
Yeah, people people really like it, but when it comes to real living in the forest, it's not so fun, right? Because you are used to live with many people. You want to talk to other people. You can stay alone. Like all the wilderness. Although it's so beautiful, still you don't want. So some of those beautiful sceneries that you see are mostly commercial areas, right? But those people, the real practitioners, they would love to be in, much away from those commercial areas, but they would really enjoy the forests. So forests are delightful natural places. Like forests bring peace and joy to them. I remember in Sri Lanka we have some American monks. They live in deep forest, and I saw like they were even petting snakes. Can you imagine? I saw some of them were just holding the snakes, and there were other like dogs and other. They were really living so harmoniously with them. Some American ones. So away from those hustle bustle of the urban city, like it's not so easy. It's so hard. So worldlings find no delight. Worldlings, like ordinary people, they often dislike solitude. Do you like solitude? Yeah. You mean in your own comfortable room, right? Yeah. So ordinary female people normally they dislike solitude and quiet because their minds crave noise, entertainment, and also sensual. And the passion-free find delight. The passion-free people, those arahants, those enlightened ones, those who have overcome craving, discover deep happiness in the stillness of nature. They don't depend on sense pleasures, so they can truly enjoy the peace of us. Enjoy environmental perspective. You can see here, this verse also reminds us that forests and nature are sacred refuges. Protecting them is not only an ecological duty, but also a spiritual support for meditation and inner peace. I remember last time we had a really huge fire in the Amazon forest. Do you remember? A few years ago? Yeah, that time, just before that, Greta Thunberg actually came up, she with a huge voice against this environmental pollution. She was talking about how important it is to, take care of this. And then we saw the man-made fires, actually. People were destroying the, the Amazon forest. And then it came back to more, people still were not concerned. And the Amazon forest is like the lung of the Mother Earth. So it was destroyed by so many people for their businesses. And then it came to Australia. There was such a huge wildfire. If you remember, so many wild animals and so many properties uh, were affected with that. So we we sometimes don't really care about these things. We really have to take a good look at this. Really have to be serious. How important it is for us to, care for our nature. So this verse teaches us that the way we see the environment depends on the state of our mind. What is boredom or emptiness for some becomes a source of peace and joy for those who live simply and free from craving. That is the idea here. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, anyone would like to read this Pali stanza and the meaning? You can try.
Someone don't. I want to try one thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yatha Sankarada Nasmim. Uchi Tasmim Mahapate. Padumam Tatha Yate Trayetha. Sukchi Gandam Manoramam. 58. Upon a heap of rubbish in the roadside ditch blossoms a lotus, fragrant and pleasing.
Yeah, thank you. So Pupa is flower. Puppavaga is the chapter on flowers. Over here, we already have talked about this kind of meaning yesterday. How the lotus comes up. Yesterday we were talking about that, right? Lotus comes up from the mud, all the way from the surface of the water, and then it blossoms and radiates a beautiful fragrance all around. So over here, Yatha Sankara Dhanasmin Ujjitasmin Mahapathe Padumang Tatha Jayet Suchigam Dham Manoramam. So this verse uses the lotus flower as a symbol of purity and transformation. Heap of rubbish represents the polluted, impure, and worldly environment in which suffering exists. And lotus blooming, even in such conditions, something beautiful, pure, and fragrant can arise. The spiritual meaning, just as the lotus grows unstained from the mud, a wise or noble person can live in the world yet remain untouched by greed, hatred, and delusion. So over here again, environmental perspective, even in degraded or polluted places, life has the power to renew itself. This teaches us both the resilience of nature and our duty to protect and nurture it. Okay, so the lotus reminds us that no matter how difficult the conditions, purity and goodness can still arise. In the same way, even in today's environmental crisis, positive action and compassion can blossom. So you are also welcome to say, if you have anything to say, please feel free. Okay. Can somebody please read this poem?
I can read.
Yes.
Dhamma and deep ecology call for the protection of natural areas and biodiversity for the sake of nature and other living beings for their own intrinsic value and worth. The recognition of this intrinsic value and worth may well be bound up with the intrinsic value and worth of human beings as a species, including their humanity and spirituality. Recognition and protection of nature and biodiversity for its own sake requires new approaches and perspectives. Much of Dhamma and deep ecology simply calls for changing our values and ways of thinking about ourselves as well as the environment. This change can come about in many ways.
Thank you, Ayla. So this passage shows Buddhism or Dhamma and deep ecology share a common vision. Dhamma can be just nature, you know. Dhamma has such a multi-meaningful word. It has so many meanings. So in a broader way, comprehensively, we can call Dhamma as the nature. So in this book, a manual for Buddhism and deep ecology. So over here, Buddhism and both Dhamma and deep ecology share common vision. Protecting nature, not just because it benefits human, but because nature and all living beings have intrinsic value in themselves. So beyond utility, we can see trees, rivers, animals, and ecosystems are valuable not only for human use, but for their own existence. And shared dignity. Just as humans have worth, so too does the natural world, which deserves respect and care. Over here, there is a call for change. Protecting nature for its own sake requires a shift in how we see ourselves, not as masters of the earth, but as part of an interconnected whole. We can see this harmony with Buddhism. The Dhamma emphasizes compassion, interdependence, and reducing greed, values that align with ecological responsibility. We can see like a lot of people maybe focus on earning money. Sometimes they don't really care about the nature, the impact, the adverse impact, the negative impact on the nature. So let's say like the plastics, use of plastics, for example. Now there are tons and tons of plastics, even in the deep fathom of the Great Ocean, and a lot of maritime creatures. They also have consumed so much plastic. And I've heard even now people eat fish, and they also somehow consume plastic a lot. Like, you use plastic forks, plastic, many things while eating and other consummation. So what happens when you do that? You will also consume a lot of plastics. I have heard even there is plastic in our mother's milk. so much pollution has taken place, and people sometimes don't even know how they have already been victim of this pollution. The water that we drink, we do have water bottles, right? And they are produced by so many different companies, and that water itself may be not so good. and they have some adverse effect. Some people find like drinking the same brand of water might cause some health issues. I remember when we were little, we used to drink water from just natural water streams when we were going to schools. But I don't think it is the same way now, even in our country. So things have changed. A lot of pollution. And, for example, the agriculture, they use a lot of chemical fertilizers. So that has actually changed the very ecosystem, the way we eat, the things we eat, the processed foods and everything. Talk about the danger that we are living. So this perspective challenges us to ask, can we respect forests, rivers, and animals simply for what they are, not just for what they are, what they give us? Buddhism and deep ecology both remind us that challenging our values is the key to protecting life on earth. Please be aware of that. Okay. Anyone would like to read this?
I will. The Buddhist perspective on the environment is profoundly intertwined with the religion's foundational teachings on compassion, interdependence, and the impermanence of all things. This essay explores how these principles inform Buddhist views on environmental ethics, using a harmonious coexistence with nature and promoting sustainable practices that benefit all sentient beings.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So over here again, the Buddhist perspective of the environment call for compassionate action. So we really have to think of it seriously for our own sustenance. This explanation about the Buddhist perspective on the environment, the Buddhist view of the environment is deeply connected to its core teachings. What are those core teachings as you find here? Can you name one?
Karuna,
Yes, very good. Karuna. What does Karuna mean?
compassion,
Yes, compassion. Extending kindness and care to all beings. Also like metta. Not only humans, but also animals, plants, and ecosystems. So Karuna is commonly used as passion for suffering beings. Metta is usually used for sentient beings. They both are very important. Even for mudita, like people who are better off, people better than us, people smarter than us, people, with better looks, better wealth, better education, everything, smarter, better. Those people, we need to have mudita for them, sympathetic joy. And all this can be part of our practice. Okay, what else do you see here? Paticca Samuppada, interdependence. Recognizing that everything is connected. Human life depends on clean air, water, forests and healthy ecosystems. Also, we see impermanence, right? Anicca, impermanence. Understanding that all things are constantly changing. If we exploit nature without mindfulness, we risk losing the very conditions that sustain life. So the ethical outcome here is these principles actually encourage living in harmony with nature, practicing simplicity, and adopting sustainable lifestyle that protect both present and future beings. Yeah, sometimes although we all like to be well and happy and healthy, also we like to be more comfortable with eating the best food, whatever the best way, it's okay. But maybe sometimes we also can think of being humble and simple, live a minimalistic lifestyle, at least even for a while, like once a month, for example. On full moon day, Buddhist people go to the temples to practice that simplicity. You know, that's really amazing. Like if every one of us contribute in our own way, like not wasting food, not polluting water, not wasting everything, and that way we can also contribute. Like high consumerism in the Western societies can be a real cause of concern. So, from this perspective, protecting the environment is not just a practical need, it's a moral and spiritual duty. It's part of walking the path. Okay. All right. Yeah, can somebody please read this also?
I can read Bunty. Core Buddhist principles and the environment. Interdependence, Paticca Samuppada. One of Buddhism's core concepts is the notion of interdependence, which asserts that all phenomena arise in dependence upon multiple causes and conditions. This interconnectedness extends to humans and their environment, highlighting that the well-being of one is intricately linked to the well-being of the other. Environmental degradation, therefore, is not just a physical issue, but also a spiritual one, as it disrupts the interconnected web of life that Buddhism cherishes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, what does this mean here again? The interdependence, right? Paticca Samuppada. This is again a core Buddhist principle, meaning all things exist in connection with causes and conditions. Nothing arises independently. So human environment link also is just like that. Our health, our happiness, and survival depend on clean air, water, soil, and the balance of ecosystems. When the environment suffers, human beings also suffer. If you see, like over here, I think California, we see all the time, every year. This time around, we see wildfires. So a lot of people suffer because last year it was disastrous. It was devastating. And in some areas, it was floods. In some areas, it's like, earthquakes. Some areas, it's maybe even man-made, even tsunamis could happen, it is said, and pandemic. If that is also man-made, that could be even more disastrous, right? So we have to think how important it is to, like, respect the nature, and how important it is for all of us to live, coexist actually peacefully. So this spiritual dimension, I think, environmental destruction is not just material damage. It also harms the moral and spiritual balance of life, because it breaks the web of interdependence that Buddhism teaches us to respect. Like Paticcasamuppada. Paticcasamuppada in its deepest level is something more different, but in superficial level, we can still use it to connect with the nature and our day-to-day life.
Bhante, can I share something?
Yes.
A while back, I read something from Thich Nhat Hanh, and it was to take a little piece of food, and before you just gobble it down, to actually start thinking about all the stages that it took to get that little piece of food to you, from the farmers who grew it, from the water that they used, from the fields to the person in the store. And by the time you actually got back to the point where you could eat it, your appetite was so diminished from the exertion of all these things that went into this little piece of food that actually it was a good diet for me. I reduced the amount of food I was eating.
Yeah, I think many Buddhist practice, monks, they do have that kind of reflection. So they have a great gratitude for all those farmers and all those transformers, transporters, and everyone who helps us. Now we are having the food on our plate, but so many people have done so much hard work. They have lost their youth. They just to provide some food for us. They have lost their good energy, and good health, and also the complexion. Even they work so hard in the uh, in the in the hot summer, hot weather, even in the mud. They do so much work to give us that beautiful or nourishing or beautiful food, very nutritious food for us. So we have to be actually mindful. That's why I think food meditation is also very, very important. Have you tried food meditation? Have you ever tried that? That's a really good thing. Yeah, that way, of course, you can consume little, consume less, and you can digest better. Like, let's say, like you have some food in front of you. So take some food, and when it goes to your mouth, yeah, think of it. Take some time. How your mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the saliva, and everything, how it grinds. The food is grinded, and so take some time to just recognize all different kinds of tastes, and even emotions, and even sensations that you have. If you are just being mindful, you don't eat faster, you eat slower. Slower eating can really make you a healthy person. And when you eat slowly, and it will also, send some message to the tummy to emit some chemicals like for food to digest, and some acids, will be secreted to the bowels. And so it goes slowly, down the food pipe, and you can also feel the sensation when it goes down. Remember the taste that you have is actually in the space of maybe like less than 6 inches from mouth to the throat. After that, you don't feel anything. And when it goes to the belly, it will disappear. You don't even feel after that. So I think if you take a little time to concentrate, as Jojo said, you will eat less that way. You don't eat hurriedly, you will eat leisurely, and you will eat mindfully like a meditation. You feel when after eating that food, after a while, you will also be feeling the energy coming out, energy boost. You can feel it. So many of us actually don't have time to think of it. So at least if you can do it every single day, maybe I suggest you do it like at least once a week, you know. Like drinking tea also can be the same, like tea ceremony or tea meditation. Same thing with eating food, can really make you a different person. Yeah, I think this Buddhist goal, by protecting the environment, we are in fact protecting ourselves and all beings within the interconnected whole. So this principle shows the environment care is separable from Buddhist practice. If we truly understand interdependence, harming nature is the same as harming ourselves. For more on this, you can read the full article in our Dhamma USA website. All right, so maybe we take a little break. Do you have to say something before that? You are a little quieter today. Are you doing okay or are so tired? I think it is the beginning of the week. I know also like it is the end of our session. Like today is the final day of this series, and after that we'll have like a couple of weeks rest.
We've been active in the chat as well, Bante.
You what?
We've been active in the chat section. So yeah, if you wanna take a look at the chat.
Okay. I think I didn't have time to look at the chat, but yes, you save it and we'll take a look at it. Yeah. And also I recommend in dhammausa.com you can see quite a number of articles related to this subject. You can take a look. And also the slideshow I have already sent to our editor to, upload to the YouTube. I will share it with you later. Okay, so let's take a.
I just want to say one thing. I don't know if it happens only to me, but the volume of your mic goes down and again up and down. So it's not consistent, and sometimes what? But he keeps saying.
Maybe I have a fan here in front of me. I don't know. That is the reason. Maybe I will change that. Yeah, you have to let me know. Otherwise, I don't even know what's going on. That might also discourage you. And remember, like you are the one recording. I'm not the one recording, so that might affect the quality of the sound. You have to let me know at the very beginning, whenever it happens, okay? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me. I try to change the location of the fan. All right. Okay. See you in a while. You hear me well? Okay.
Yes, it's
Nice and
okay.
clear.
Okay. There is a change, please let me know, okay? This is another problem, like in teaching online, technology, uh, connection. Okay. Do you like to have a group discussion? I have been talking a lot, I think. Do you feel bored?
I got a question for everyone and for Bante too. But you know, like on the topic of environment and like big picture of the whole society, I've been struggling with like looking at like 8 billion people, right? Sometimes my effort of like doing good for the world, for the environment, it might feel frugal. I don't know if that's the right word, but like it's like as one person, sometimes it feels insignificant. And but in a way, as Buddhist teaching, we can only change our own way of living, right? it's it's difficult to try to force the way of living to other people, but at the same time, when we're talking about problem of environment, it related to policy and politics, and it's sometimes it's there's many factors outside of our controls. So as a practitioners, how do we balance that like the the effort of a person still trying to do the best, but like not being cling to the seemingly insignificance of one person in the whole society.
That's a good question. What do you think? You also actually asked the question from everyone. Maybe you think of this question, okay? So when you discuss in the group, you can also take this into consideration. Yeah. So like in the world, like as we are so insignificant, like one out of, 8 billion people. So does it make sense if we make some effort, and then like if you are not a really powerful political leader or something, it doesn't make much sense, right? But is that really the case? You can discuss in our own simple, individual way. Can we also not contribute? Just like Greta Thunberg, that little girl, just a teenage girl, she started all by herself. Now she has millions of people. I think so. Maybe we get together, we make a force to reckon with. Okay? So hopefully you can think of it and discuss in your group. And I would like to, this as the group. So we have few topics: global environmental organizations and Buddhist perspectives, comparative analysis of environmental protection commitments, living in harmony with nature, environmental wisdom from the Pali Canon, summary and quotes of the Rio Declaration on Environment, and development. And this girl, Greta Thunberg, the voice for environmental action in the climate crisis era. So I will share the links of these so that you know. Number one is global environmental. Okay, this one is number one. Number one. So this is for group one. And then we'll go to the other one. Living in harmony with nature. That could be number two. And then summary and quotes of the Rio Declaration. That would be number three. And then the young girl Rita. Number four. Okay, so the first one is without the number here. That means that is number one. Okay. All right, so we have here 12 people. I think this discussion also can be very helpful. You can talk to your friends. I think we can have like 3 people each in that case. Okay, I'm going to make groups, break into groups. 1, 4. And so we have Ayla, Jangchuk, and Tara, room number 1, that is group 1. Cameron, Jojo, and New, room number 2. Bante, Vijita, Chris, and Juan, room number 3. And Gabriela and Judy, room number 4. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, good luck, and we'll see you in 15 minutes time, and you please discuss. You can join the group. Jojo, can you join the room? Hello, Jojo. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Bunty.
Yeah. Did you join the group?
No,
You didn't want to join the
no,
group?
no, no. I'm in the group. I'm trying to read. I had a little bit of difficulty trying to pull it up, so I'm trying to read it to go back to them.
Oh, I see.
So I think it's okay. I have trouble getting in and out of the groups, Bunty, and finding the material, but I think I'm okay. I'll try to keep reading. Okay.
Okay, sure, sure.
Thank you.
You read the article for that group.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bunty.
Okay. All right, everyone, welcome back to our session. Please raise your hand, the group number 1 people. Yeah, I mean, over here. Yeah, like that. I hope you know how to do that. That way you will be on the top. So like I let it. You raise your hand. Tintara is trying to do that. Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe you have another group member probably. Is that Janchu? Okay. Yeah, it's not this. It's like this. So you will go to the top. Then you do that. Okay. So yeah, please start.
All right, I can go
I
first.
can go first.
Oh, I actually hear myself repeated back. Let me try talking.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it looks okay.
Okay, sounds better now. So we actually did not have very much time to discuss. I think it took us a long time for reading the article. But what I got from it was one Buddhist, main Buddhist interpretation of environmental issues is that this is actually a result of many people being defiled with the 3 poisons of delusion, anger, and greed, especially. So Buddhists tend to see the working on purifying the self and liberating the self as a means toward helping the environment, but it's still a little bit long term because this requires a lot of practice, and there are many parts of the world where Buddhism is maybe not so common. People don't know very much about it. And then there was also a teaching where the Buddha said that we should think of our interactions with the natural world should be like how a bee collects pollen from a flower. It takes what it needs to sustain itself, but it doesn't harm the flower in any way. So I think that's something that you can really apply, thinking about yourself. What is the way that you can have the least harm?
Thank you. Thank you, Ayla. The other team members, do you also want to say something?
I will. I also like the bee flower analogy, and I wrote that down. I also like the aspect where in Buddhism it specifies a man adopts a simple, moderate lifestyle that mankind as a whole will stop polluting the environment. And when they're talking about the integration of the 5 natural laws, where it's cosmic, psychology, biologic, physical, and moral, for your human morality versus nature. And I think just trying to balance between humankind's integration and wanting to move more into, you know, our environment, we're losing the forest and everything else. And, you know, it reflects back to the Buddhism, you know, the Buddhist aspect of simplicity, where if we all just kind of work together and get over, you know, like she's, you know, she specified with the greed, hatred, and delusion, then it's more progress working as a whole to initiate a better planet for our future generations. That's all.
Thank you. I have a question. Did you actually read the global environmental organizations, or you were reading Living in Harmony with Nature?
I read the whole article.
What was the topic?
Of the topics. Are you talking
So
about
group
the global
number one.
global perspective at the top of the article? Is that what you're talking about? With the Buddha, I don't understand what you're asking.
Global environmental organizations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we both did read that one.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Group number one, Venerable Yangchuk, you were in the group number one? Yeah, do you want to say something? Okay, okay. All right, let's move on to group number two then. Please raise your hand. Okay, please start.
Yeah, our group have a lot of reading. It's 13 pages, so we have not finished reading. So I think each person will summarize the impressive part they after the reading. So I can start first with the Jojo. Do you want first?
Maybe if I could start first, because I know for sure I read that first part. I'm not sure where I left off. I think you guys got further than I did. For a minute, I thought I was reading the wrong one because I also saw the simile of the bee. Living in harmony with nature. They were basically saying that the Vinaya had some rules on pollution and whatnot, but there's a lot in the suttas that actually brings out and promotes the living in harmony and the interdependence with the environment. And the be amongst the flower, taking only what needed, contributing to natural flourishing and sustainable living really stood out for me. Because if everybody was just to take what they needed and not go into excess, I think the world would be a lot better place to live in, and we'd be taking care of it much more than we are now. The Buddha was 25 centuries ago, and Lily de Silva was saying that in Buddhism, they are teachings designed to eradicate human suffering, but it's not so much directly addressed as far as the specific factors relating to, I guess, earth tending. And they said that there were some things that the Buddha really wouldn't answer. So it's kind of up to us to come up with our own solutions and not depend on somebody else to provide it for us. We have to take our own responsibility to make an effort to make the world a better place so that it's not only for us, but for the future generations. And that's about what I've got. And there's also the one thing that the Buddha did emphasize is that, you know, the living in seclusion in nature and what you can get from nature, the joy and the natural benefits, the aesthetic satisfaction that comes from being in remote areas and just being one-to-one with the earth is very profound and has a very profound impact in the person themselves. And that's what I've got.
Thank you, Jojo. So to be
Thank you.
continued to the topic in our group about live in harmony with nature and the environmental wisdom from the from Pali Canon. In this reading, we have just found the 5 natural laws, Pancha Niyama Dhamma. It's a teaching found in Bali commentaries, include physical laws, biologic law, psychology laws, moral law, and causal law. And this law this law we this law physical it help us to identify environmental conditions directly influence biological system and that affect to psychological state and which is and then turn influence moral behavior and moral behavior affect and moral behavior affects environmental conditions. So the quality of the environment reflects the quality of our collective moral behavior. Why environmental conditions influence our capacity for ethical conduct. And in this reading, mention two Pali Canon illustrate this principle. The first one is Chakavadisi Hanada Sutta. It talk about the environmental deterioration. The gradually man's health will deteriorate so much so that life expectancy will diminish until at last the average human lifespan is reduced to 10 years. And another sutta is Agutara Ki Nikaya talk about the when profligate lust, greed and wrong values grip the heart of the man, and immorality becomes widespread in society. So timely rain does not fall. When timely rain does not fall, crops get adverse affected with various kind of pests and plant disease. And that time, human will lack of nourishment food for human. So overall, this on this sutta and wisdom is help us to remind us about contemporary environmental science affect to the human about the human moral choice will affect to the environmental consequence. Yeah, it's the part I read. Yeah, and Cameron,
Thank
do you want
you,
to add?
Cameron.
Yeah, I did appreciate a lot of the suttas that talked about, as Nu is describing, our moral effects on our environment, and especially the sutta, which I don't hear mentioned too often, of the origin of the universe, where the Buddha describes how we came from spiritual, spontaneously manifesting beings, and then how through generations and generations we lose our principles and become more greedy and more lustful, and that's how we've descended into the human state we're in now. And yeah, it was very thought-provoking, making me think of what it means to be sustainable, to live in a sustainable environment, and how we can project these values and ideals of, reducing consumption, being more economically aware. But if you don't address the root tendency, the root cause of why we are exploiting the environment, why we are acting greedily, and why we tend to consume more than we need to survive, or why we're always looking for some sort of consumption, then these constraints that we put on ourselves is, it's not the middle way. It just becomes like almost self-mortification in a way, because you're still driven by greed and desire and lust. And if you're just trying to restrict and control yourself from some sort of external factor, it's, you know, it's not sustainable. That's not real sustainability. So that was one of the thoughts I had.
Thank you. Thank you, group 2. Appreciate your input. Let's move on to group number 3. Please raise your hand. Right. Okay. All right. Chris, you want to start? Oh, sorry.
Sure. So this was from the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development held in Rio in 1992. What it talks a lot about is the need for all countries to participate in helping protect the environment. It discusses how more developed countries should be more responsible in helping countries who are less developed in making sure that they're taking action and protecting the environment. It talks about things like famine and poverty, and how if more developed countries can help less developed countries with those sorts of things, that can also participate in helping the environment. It goes in to discuss things like warfare and how, you know, that's not only a deadly consequence for population, but it's also deadly for the environment as well, and how peace is always the better option for that sort of thing. But yeah, so it really just talks about that everybody around the world should be very responsible as far as making sure that the environment survives as long as possible, and that nobody should be allowed to relinquish that responsibility.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Honorable Vijita?
Yes, okay, thank you. Actually, I would like to share my idea, this article. This article teaches us the one thing is the interdependence of nature and humanity. This the Rio Declaration. Rio Declaration emphasized the integral and interdependent nature of the earth, our home. We can actually show, we can use these ideas to show how environmental issues are not separate from human well-being. This matches this match the well with the Buddhist concept of Paticca dependent originations. Yeah. And also the other thing is that there are some quotes, various quotes that they are in this article mentioned the principle, like principle one, the important quotes of from the Rio Declaration on the Environmental Development. This one highlight the human beings are not at the center of sustainable development. With the right to live in harmony with nature. This can be linked to Buddhist value of right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, and mindful consumptions development should not harm to the earth or future generations. That's the idea.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bante. Juan?
Yeah, well, in this article we can found an part that is about the participation of the woman in youth and the indigenous. So it's about the integration of this part of the society. Especially in my case, I pay a lot of attention to the indigenous because they have a lot of wisdom in the relationship in between the society, the human society, and the nature. So it's very important, and how we can learn from them. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, group 3. Sorry, I could not ask everyone to, applaud the other group. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, let's actually give them all a huge applause. I know it was not enough time, just reading alone takes a lot of time, but this is how we have to, somehow adjust. Like the group 1 people read the entire article, and group 2 people were a bit smart. They selected, just a bit so they could read better. So yeah, so you need to learn. Okay, so let's move on to the other group. Is that group 4? Okay. Yes. Is that group 3 or 4?
We are group 4.
Okay, all right.
So we read a little bit on the I think the climate. Let me go back to a little bit what I read. Yeah, we read about a little bit about climate crisis, and so in regards to Greta Thunberg, we all thought she was a great human being. Part in a way, she's also a bodhisattva because she's practicing the dharmas from the Buddha, and maybe she may not realize maybe she is a Buddhist. Who knows? But she raised points about she won't fly because of the carbon dioxide that released into the environment, causing harms and raises the temperature. So I was mentioning to the group that nowadays, United, for example, I fly United only. So United have a program where when you select your flight, it will list under there in small print the amount of carbon dioxide that we release into the air. So then you can actually select the flight, what flight you want to fly to contribute the carbon dioxide into the environment, which I thought was great. And then Mark mentioned about private jets. People take private jets and put a lot of carbon dioxide into this world. And I like one of the message that she brought up in the message says something about our house is on fire. That's actually the same speech that Buddha was mentioned in the Lotus Sutra, I believe, chapter 3. Our house is on fire, meaning the environment is on fire, our bodies, everything around us is on fire, but we are so consumed with what we desire and liked, and we don't realize that we're living in a home that is full of fires, and we don't try to get out. So by she mentioning that, I actually think she might be a bodhisattva that might be enlightened from many lives. So I thought it's very interesting to read this passage and brought a lot of awareness to myself, and then maybe the group can express what they feel too.
Right, the other people, thank you so much. Julie? Mark and Gabriel?
Yeah. um, we're discussing also what behaviors we have been changed since we start studying this program, and putting in practice, not just reading or discussing, but putting in practice these precepts and making changes in our lives. We were discussing also that, and I shared that a month ago I was in Alaska, and I want to share with you this picture. And this is, they are asking permission to this fish to feed the family. And I was amazed for this practice before to kill the fish. It's sacred to have this connection before the fish die. And they have a lot of intention to use their meat for the best. And it's impressive how we lost the connection with nature in just coming back to Illinois. We are so busy and in cars, and that we just disconnect super easy. And I think I shared that it's a problem of disconnection. But there's many other places that you can find they live in a different way and respecting what is around them, all as part of the same planet.
Thank you, Gabriel. Mark?
Julie's summary really good. What I wanted to say. But yeah, no, yeah, come back to the question I asked earlier. I think uh, in
I think your voice is breaking up.
Sorry, let me see. Can you hear me now?
Maybe your Wi-Fi, Mark.
Hear me now?
It's the same.
It's still breaking, Mark. Breaking sometimes.
I'm really worried if that happens to me. I keep talking for hours. Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me better?
No, it's breaking
No?
up.
Oh, that's my Wi-Fi. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you, Mark. You maybe you can type a little bit. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's yeah, that's it. So yeah, please give all of them a huge applause for in appreciation of the contribution they made to make this class more interactive. And I'm sure you should be able to read the particular article in detail later, and also read the other articles. Now you know how important it is to read the other articles as well. Yeah, please keep reading, and there were more articles in this site later on. Last year, I actually wrote a few more on the subject. So maybe you can also take a look. And so this is about, like getting into action now, right? I think Mark's question I would like to raise again over here. In our own individual levels, will that make sense if I only work on this environmental protection, whereas all the other people are, destroying the nature? I alone, what can I do to save the earth? Yeah, would you like to respond to that question, please? Anyone is welcome.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
everyone is responsible of his or own actions, but is to a way to take action with others. I mean, you need to be an example. If you are conscious about your own actions, you can be the example for others, and you can make a big contribution. Yeah, so maybe you are doing the recycle in your house, you know, but now I know here in Chicago there is some groups where you can be active, more active, you know. So there is a big opportunity to put your own action in a big action. Yeah, that is my thought.
Thank you, Juan. Jojo?
What I was getting from Mark was you can burn out really quickly when you feel like you're insignificant, when there's so much to be done and you don't think you can do it all yourself. But there's one verse that I really love in the Dhammapada that's inspired me a lot. And it says, water falling drop by drop will fill even a large pot. Likewise, the wise man accumulating good little by little becomes goodness itself. So even if you don't think that you can do everything, just do what you can do. Let the rest go. Let other people step in where they can and just give it your all, but then don't get burnt out on it.
Thank you, Jojo. Yeah. In Pali, that Dhammapada says, Udakumbha, Udabindu Nipatena Udakumbhopi Purati. Yeah, so, bit by bit, drop by drop, we have to make it happen. Even in our own small ways, we still can contribute. We are not insignificant that way, right? Julie?
I think Mark and I come from Vietnam, so that's why I kind of on the same topic with Mark. It's when I go to Vietnam, all my friends throw trash wherever they want. Like if they eat something, they just throw trash on the floor, and then they'll throw trash on the table. There's trash everywhere in Vietnam, trash is everywhere. But when you go to Japan, there's no trash. But then my friend and I will get into an argument sometime because I would hold on to my trash and then I would find a trash can and put my trash in. And then my friend's like, why don't you just throw it like the rest of us? And I said, why do I have to be like the rest of you? I have the choice to be myself. So then by showing example, just by individually showing example consistent to what you believe, then I think people are starting to respect you. And then sooner or later, I'm starting to see my friends starting to not be so trashful around me. So they're starting to learn the habit. So I think it's as important you yourself should be responsible for your behavior and action. And if you believe that's the right thing, then you should stick to it. It's just like Dharma. I mean, practicing Dharma is hard, but if you believe in it, then you just stick to it. Regardless 10,000, 100,000 people tell you wrong, I think you just stick to it. And if one person make one piece of trash less, then our world is just one step better, I think. That's my view.
Thank you. Yes, pretty much agree. We have to be persistent and consistent. It doesn't matter, like, we have been outnumbered. If you think like the Buddha also started with 5 and then went on to millions, right? So we always have to think it's okay if we have like quality people around us. Even few people can run the world. The other people are just not trendsetters, Many people are trend followers. So one brave one, wise ones, just a few is enough. If we come up, if we stand up, we could make a big difference. Yes. I remember actually about the new government in Sri Lanka. they started actually a wonderful project called Clean Sri Lanka project. At the beginning, I think there was also like that. People really don't care about that. Now, in Clean Sri Lanka project, it was a nationwide initiative aimed at promoting environmental cleanliness, sustainable waste management, and public awareness about the importance of protecting natural environment. It's not only that, but also like talking about the people's attitudes, just like Julie said, how the other people really are careless about the nature. So I think it's very important that we all work together, like changing people's attitude will be very important. It's really important. As you also mentioned in Japan, no trash. It's like a heaven. It's amazing how they are so caring for the other people. If they do some construction, they make sure everything is well covered. And even a small construction, they are very, very meticulous about that. So they take all precautions. I think it's really wonderful. When I went to Japan, I felt like it's like a heaven, so clean, so beautiful. People are very what do you call really polite, Amazing. Yes, we need to learn these things. Okay. Ayla?
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to add with this discussion is the point that our Buddhist practice also kind of counts as effort toward trying to help the environment, even if it seems from your perspective like my meditation or my learning about the Dharma might be just for me, just for purifying this particular body, but I think it still would count as those like drops of water, like in what Jojo read from the Dhammapada. So I think that's something to like, maybe when you're having the feeling that Mark described of how can I need to be doing more, but how can I do more? I think you can remind yourself that all the time that you spend practicing the Dhamma and learning it also counts too, because when you work to be more mindful, you actually open up a lot of energy for yourself, so that you might actually just have more energy to work on different projects. But you also, as you can become more mindful in the daily life, you can see, you can watch yourself. Maybe you would just buy like something with a bunch of plastic packaging because you need a quick snack. But if you're mindful and you see that, you could maybe wait and, use something that's recycled, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Ayla. Appreciate your voice too. And I would like to also invite you to practice your own way. Like personal practice, maybe cleaning your own room, making your own bread, and your bathroom, your kitchen, your house, and inside and outside, backyard. Make it nice and clean, organizing yourself first, and then slowly. Maybe you can also talk to your family members, friends, relatives, and maybe you can also now easily go to social media, or you can make more awareness among the people. I'd like to invite you all to actually write comments on the articles that you read. Hopefully that will also help um, make more awareness among the people. So let's work together as a group. Even these people over here, if we get together, if we work together, we can also make a big difference. We can make the entire world, aware of what we do. That's how people have started. Hopefully, like the world today, like for your own kids, the future generation, they need the world to live. We need to actually take care of it for them. We can't really destroy the earth just like that. Plastic consumption and a lot of other things like wasting, overconsumption is a huge problem too. Like, water and the earth, the air pollution, as Julie said, yeah, we could also think of even while flying. Um, did you also think of like while riding, one person riding a huge car where actually 5 people could go? Imagine, like we are wasting so much, and then you see the traffic, and maybe there should be something like going as a group if there is a possibility. Like if some friends, of course, we could go together, not with the strangers. But I think things like Uber and all have come now, like not one passenger, but many passengers together. Probably that could also, kind of reduce the traffic. Whatever, like we need to think of like more constructive ways to take care of the mother earth. Then only we can find a world, a better world for the rest of the people, especially the future generations. Okay. Yeah,
Finally, I
thank
want
you.
to say, I was never like this before. I think the Dharma studying has changed me in a good way, and especially, I would really invite you all to come to Maba, and then you can really learn how to recycle and learn really how to contribute to the earth, because Maba is very concerned about this topic. So I learned a lot from Maba and from the Dharma. I was never this. I never concerned about my wasting trash or concerned about the environment until I think I studied Dharma and stayed at Maba for a long time, and then it really has changed me. So if you guys have time, come to Maba.
Yes, thank you for reminding actually. I'm coming there on 29th. I'll be there till 2nd September and hope we can meet some of you. How many of you are coming? I know it's a long journey for some, but hope to see you some on, during that meeting with the Maba community. Yeah, I really appreciate Maba community too. I've been there like before COVID. That time we also had an opportunity to, go for a walk around and also meditate there. And I stayed there for a few days. And after that, I started teaching online. So otherwise, I was supposed to go there in person and teach. And later we changed into like online teaching. And now I think when we had a meeting with the teachers and Venerable Kongyang, we already emphasized the importance of meeting the students in person. The teachers and students in person, that can make a big difference. Yeah, hope to see you soon. All right. Yeah, you can make yourself a different person that way. You see, like when we have such wonderful community with us, we can make this world a beautiful place to live. We really need people like that. We really need places like Maba so that we can make some difference. So I think I missed some of these, but it's okay. We could at least discuss somewhat with today's session. I hope you all learned a lot of things, and hopefully you also will keep thinking of this beautiful lesson. So in conclusion, the Buddhist perspective on the environment, we need to think of this, ethical and spiritual blend. Buddhism offers both moral principles and practical actions for environmental care. I really appreciate all of you who are trying to say how important it is for us to, take care of these things, and we need to change our habits. So the co-foundations again here is compassion, karuna, interdependence, paticca samuppada. You are not alone. We are not alone. We have many other people in this world. So, and also the ethical conduct, sila. As Julie said, she has transformed herself to a different person. I think many of you must have definitely, transformed yourself into a different person thanks to this beautiful teaching. So these things can guide us how we can live with the earth. We say Mother Earth. We need to respect that. We need to love this. And so the relevance today, as the world faces climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss, and these teachings remind us that mindful living and non-harming are essential responses. These teachings remind us that, by practicing this, the practical part, practicing moderation, moderation in eating and other consumptions, mindful consumption, and compassion for all beings, we can move toward sustainability and harmony. I remember some of you mentioning Buddhist community is very less, and yet I think we can make a difference. It doesn't really matter the number. It really matters the quality, the dedication, the commitment. If we, even in small groups, work together, we can make a difference. So the final message here, protecting the planet is not separate from the Buddhist practice. It's part of walking the path of Dhamma itself. So as we end today's session, reflect. What is one way I can bring mindfulness and compassion into my daily relationships with the environment? Just think, one way you can make a difference. Even small actions and rooted in Dharma can help heal our world. With that, we conclude today. As we have explored how the Buddha's teachings guide us to live in harmony with the environment, from compassion and in interdependence to mindful consumption and ethical conduct. The Dhamma reminds us that caring for the earth is part of our spiritual path. May we all continue to grow in wisdom and compassion, becoming guardians of the earth and protectors of life, walking the path of harmony and sustainability for the benefit of present and future generations. Thank you. and have a wonderful evening, everybody. Please say one word before leaving. And see you again in another 2 weeks' time.
Bunty, what's the actual date on our next class?
I guess it is. What is the next Friday?
September 5th.
September 5th? 5.
September 5? Okay. Yeah, we'll see you on September 5. Thank you and take care.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May
Thank you,
you all
Bhante.
be very
Thank you,
happy,
Bhante.
okay?
Thank you,
Night,
everyone.
Bunty.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night.